Hey guys, Sean here. I'm in the middle of doing reviewing all four Fantastic Four movies, and yesterday I reviewed the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. So now I am up to the 2005 theatrically released Fantastic Four movie. This was directed by Tim Story and stars Ewan Griffith, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, um, Julian McMahon, and Kerry Washington. Now, I gotta say, I do like this movie. I think it's very well done. It's a good story, some good action. The cast is really good in this movie. They do have some good chemistry, and I just thought this was really well done. Basically, the story is that 5 people go into space to study a cosmic storm, and their ship is hit by said cosmic storm, and it gives them their superpowers. So the rest of the movie is them basically trying to learn how to control these powers and essentially live with them. And basically that's what it's about. That's what I think of this movie. Like I said, it's really well done. The cast is really good all across the board. When I think of the Fantastic Four characters, I think of these actors. Nobody else comes to mind. Just these actors. Like when I think Mr. Fantastic, I automatically think Ewan Griffith. With the Invisible Woman, I automatically think Jessica Alba. Human Torch, automatically think Chris Evans, and then the same with Michael Chiklis as a thing. When I think Doctor Doom, only one person comes to mind. That's Julian McMahon. Right there. That guy right there. And as far as Felicia Masters, I automatically think Kerry Washington. And some fun trivia for you guys. I think it was during this time that Julian McMahon was doing Nip Tuck. Because I know during this one he was, and I'll get to that when I review it. But yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. And then he was also in the show Charmed as the Demon Cole. But that's a different subject entirely. So yeah, I do like this movie. There's a line I thought that's kind of funny in this movie where in the beginning where we first see Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, he basically freaks Ben out by saying "Captain on the Bridge." I kind of thought that was funny because not only is it kind of a Star Trek reference, but it's also an ironic line because Chris Evans would go on to play Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I do have the reviews. I do have the review for both those movies up on my channel. Please check them out if you wish. But yeah, I do enjoy this movie. I think it's really well done. Do I have any nitpicks with the movie? I wouldn't really call them nitpicks, but there's stuff I just didn't understand. Like that. See, this movie basically states that they get their powers because of their behavior, I guess you say, and emotions and whatnot. Now, I get Ben being super strong because they say that he always does the heavy lifting, but I don't understand the whole thing about the rock look. That I never understood. And same with Invisible Woman. Because she's able to turn invisible and project force fields. Now, I get the whole her being invisible because she feels that she's not being seen by Reed, and that she feels like she's the only girl looking in on the boys. So I get the whole invisibility thing. I just don't get how she's able to project force fields. But just a little nitpicky, I guess. And as far as Doctor Doom, people say that he didn't have lightning abilities in the comics, but you know what? I'm fine with that. Because I was never a comic book reader growing up. Because whenever I review a comic book movie, I always review it based on the film, not based on the comics. Same with how I judge the movie. I judge it based on the film, not the comic book. But the one thing I don't get is Doom's face starting to turn all metal? I'm not sure you can see that right there. But I'm not sure you can see his face turn metal. I really don't understand that, because especially within the especially in the second movie when they kind of retcon that and make his face normal again. I didn't get that. People say that Doom doesn't really have a motivation in this. He kind of does, because if you watch the movie very clearly, the mission these guys go on is basically the reason his company goes under, and he's basically pissed about that, thinking he lost everything, and so he basically redirects his anger at the Four, blaming them for basically destroying his life. So, yeah, he's got a motivation here. Very good one. And like I said, I do like this movie. The cast is really strong. The score by John Ottman is really good. It's really good music. I like it. So yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I don't get the hate. I don't understand the hate it gets. I mean, if you guys don't like the movie, if you guys don't like this movie, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm not gonna hate on you for it, but this is just my opinion, and I enjoy it. This is the theatrical version of the movie. I do have the extended edition, the extended cut on like a recorded tape that I got off of FX when they did the DVD on TV thing. So I do have the extended cut, and I do enjoy it. And I enjoy this one too. But if I had to pick which version was better, this or the extended one, I would say the extended one I think is the better one, because it has more scenes and it gives more time to develop the characters. And speaking of the characters, I like in this one how they all know each other from the past, whereas in the reboot they are meeting each other for the first time. I will get to that when I review it in a couple days or so. But yeah, I like how they all know each other from the past and all that stuff, because we don't have to deal with the extra build-up that we get in this one. And I just want to say, I'm sure people have said this before, but Ben's wife in the movie, she's kind of an evil bitch. It's like she only judges Ben based on his looks. I mean, you could at least talk to him about this before you just put the ring down and dump him. But yeah, I guess that's another nitpick I have this movie. But all in all, I still enjoy the movie. I think it's very entertaining, very good. And it's way better than the last one that I reviewed. And I did mention in that review that Ben is not supposed to go back and forth, and that these movies do give kind of reasons. And yes, they do, because in this one, Reed is trying to build a machine that will recreate the storm so that they can get these powers removed. And they do give a reason for Ben turning back to normal, is because part of Doom's plan includes turning all the team against Reed. I wish I was exploited more, was developed more, and focused on more, whatnot. But yeah, Doom basically uses his power to make the machine work better, and it makes Ben go back to normal. So yeah, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain the Rise of the Silver Surfer reason when I watch the movie. But yeah, I completely enjoy this movie. The music's good, the cast is good, the direction's good, the action scenes are well done. Like I said, the cast is very good. I think I just said that, although the story is well done. So all around good movie. I don't understand the hate for it, but if you guys don't like it, that's your opinion. I'm not going to insult you. So I will be back to review this movie once I watch it, which will be now. See you later. Hey guys, Sean here. I just got done watching Rise of the Silver Surfer, and so now I thought I'd sit here and do my review of it. See what I think of this movie. I thought it was pretty cool. Like I said, I do like these two movies. You know, more than most, obviously. But I find them very enjoyable. This movie takes place 2 years after the first movie. Reed and Sue have been trying to get married, but some superhero-ish catastrophe has always gotten in the way. And they finally try and get married again, but what happens is that this guy here, Silver Surfer, right there, comes to Earth and starts to create creators in it so that his master Galactus can basically eat the planet to survive, I'm guessing. And so, sorry about that. And so the team has to get together and find a way to stop that from happening. That's what I think of this movie. I like it a lot. I think it's a really enjoyable movie. Would I say it's better than the first one? Debatable. I like them both evenly, I guess. All the cast returns for this movie. Ewan Griffith, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, Julian McMahon, and Kerry Washington. They all come back. Though I do say that Julian McMahon does very little in this movie. He doesn't do anything in this movie. Like, I mean that literally, because the last act of this movie, when Doom puts on the uniform, or his suit, whatever you call it, that isn't even Julian McMahon in the costume. That's a stand-in because during filming, Julian McMahon was busy doing his show Nip Tuck, and so they had to write around his absence. And so they just said, we'll just put Doom in the suit in the last act and cover it with a stand-in, and that's pretty much what they did. And then they had Julian McMahon once he had free time to do the ADRs for the dialogue. So if you think about it, Julian McMahon doesn't do a dang thing in this movie, literally. I think they only brought him back was because it's a Fantastic Four movie, and Doctor Doom is like an important character to the Fantastic Four run. So I like seeing Julian McMahon back, but he does very little. But he doesn't do really much of anything. The Silver Surfer is played by Doug Jones in like the motion capture, and the voice is done by Lawrence Fishburne, who does a very good job in the role. I think so. And then you got General Hager played by Andre Brewer. I think. I know I butchered that name. But in the original script, it was originally supposed to be Nick Fury in that role, not a character named General Hager. But they were starting up the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the time, and so they had to write Nick Fury out of it because they wanted to use him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I understand. Tim Story's back to direct. John Ottman is back to do the score, and he does a very good score in two movies. I do like it. The cast still works off each other really well. Let's see. In this movie, like I said, Reed and Sue are trying to get married repeatedly. It doesn't work out the way they want because all these superhero disasters are happening, so they have to try repeatedly to get married. Sorry about that. And so once the server comes to Earth, and Victor somehow is resurrected, he develops this plan to try and get the servers bored, so that he can, simply have more power. Obviously. But yeah, so it's like that. I like this movie. Are there any nitpicky things that I have about it? Yes. There was no point in bringing Julian McMahon back. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see him, but he kind of served no purpose to the movie other than he's Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom is expected. So, yeah. And I did say in my review for the 94 movie and the review for the last one that in these two movies that Ben does revert to his normal form, and he does. And that's because in this movie, when Johnny has an encounter with the Surfer affects his molecules so that they are, as Reed says, in a constant state of flux, which will allow him to temporarily switch powers with the group. And that happens twice in the movie. Because the first time is when Reed says, ideally I'd like to run some more tests. And then Ben's like, would you like a volunteer? And so Johnny and Reed are like, no. And Ben's like, oh, come on, it could be fun. So he touches Johnny's shoulder, and then they switch, and Johnny's the rock form. Ben's normal. But here's what I don't get about that. Is the idea of Johnny being in the rock form is kind of funny because it basically is coming back to bite him in the rear end, all the insults he did to Ben in the first movie, and this one too. But here's what I get is, when Michael Chiklis is in the costume, his voice, he changes his voice. But Chris Evans, his voice stays the same. So that's kind of a nitpicky thing I had a little bit of issue with. And then at the end, when Johnny gets all the powers and fights Doom, Ben is again in his normal form. And at the end, when Johnny gives them back their powers, how does he kind of know that he'll give the powers back to the right person? That is kind of a nitpicky thing on my part. It's not a horrible nitpick. It's just something I found weird. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this movie. I think it's really, really well done. There is more of a story in this one, and the action scenes are there. And then there's there's some more action scenes compared to the first movie. Now, I will say one thing about Kerry Washington. She does very good at playing a blind person in these two movies, in these two films. Because had I not seen her in anything else, like the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, yes, I've seen that movie, and it's a so-so movie. But had I not seen her in that movie, I would assume she was blind because of how good she does. And it wouldn't surprise me, although I don't think it's true. It wouldn't surprise me if she had the same, blind instructor person that Ben Affleck had for Daredevil. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it happened that way. But yeah, I do like these two movies. I think they're very entertaining, very enjoyable. And like I said with the first movie, if you don't like them, that's fine. That's your opinion. All film is subjective. I'm not gonna trash you for it. But I like these movies. I think they're very well done, very entertaining. And I will be reviewing the new Fan 4-Stick reboot pretty soon. So yeah, please check out that review, and I'll catch you guys later.